Planning a trip to Brighton? Planning to go and see the Sea Life Centre, the Palace Pier, the I-360? Stop!
Before you fill up your days, if you want something a little different, we are about to explore some brilliant things to do in Brighton. Hello, hello, hello. We are about to get banged up at a very unique Brighton attraction, the Old Police Cells Museum located in the Town Hall just behind us. Brighton Police Cells Museum occupies what was Brighton's main police station from 1830 to 1967. It's underneath Brighton Town Hall. On the tour you'll hear lots of fascinating stories, including how Henry Solomon, police chief, was murdered in 1844. Once inside the town hall you can witness the surprisingly impressive collection of truncheons just before you descend down the stairs into the basement of the town hall and into the police cells themselves. The tours are led by a former police officer, which brings an added authenticity and added detail to the stories that they tell you. This is a piece of original graffiti written by Dave the Rocker when he was banged up after a huge scuffle between the mods and rockers in 1964.
We're pretty confident that is a genuine Dave the Rocker.
1964.
8th of June 1964, fits in timing-wise.
Yeah.
They're not so sure about the authenticity of Beatnik George's graffiti. There is a really interesting section on the IRA bombing of the Grand Hotel in the 80s, including some of the actual evidence from the trial and an amazing scale model which was actually made by one of the PCs on the case. Occupying many more of the former police cells, there is a wealth of information and history to learn about policing in Brighton Hove and the surrounding area. Visiting is by booking only, and it's open 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Saturdays. It's £5 for adults.
That was an absolutely fascinating tour led by our volunteer guide, Nick. If you're interested in the grittier side of Brighton history, the stuff that you don't often see, this is definitely something to come and check out. And the museum has big plans for the future, definitely one to put on your list. Brighton is home to some eye-catching, vibrant and original street artwork. Start at the Prince Albert pub and take a self-guided tour through the North Lanes. Trafalgar Lane, Kensington Street and St George's Mews are great places to spot some of the ever-changing murals and artwork.
We are at Brighton Toy and Model Museum, immersed in the nostalgia of toys, with everything from dinky toys to model trains to vintage Lego. It's really difficult to explain just how incredible the collection is at Brighton Toy and Model Museum. I guess you just have to see it for yourself. There are thousands of items which may well take you or indeed your parents on a trip down memory lane, from vintage Lego and Meccano to model trains, planes and boats. These are something I've never come across before, building sets, and these are from the 1960s. And what I found really interesting is that you too can build your very own 1960s office block.
You may remember Sooty, Sweep, Sue, maybe even Basil Brush, when the toys of your childhood had turned into some kind of creepy, macabre, endless display. Oh, there we go.
You can also try your luck by playing on some very old arcade games. Didn't win that time. The centrepiece of the museum is the enormous model railway, most of which dates back from the 1930s. This is truly a unique museum and an absolute hidden gem, occupying old Victorian cellars underneath Brighton train station. Please visit Brighton Toy and Model Museum. You will not regret it. It costs £7 per adult, £4 for children, and a family ticket with up to 3 children is £15.
You know you're old when they have a corgi version of a car you used to drive in a museum. No visit to Brighton is complete without a trip to the beach and a stroll along the buzzing promenade. Packed with restaurants, bars, shops, activities, arcades and amusements, as well as a small fishing museum, there is plenty to explore, including the West Pier, which opened in 1866 and closed in 1975. Check out Brighton Palace Pier for fairground fun and amusement arcades.
The iconic image of the Royal Pavilion has long been synonymous with Brighton, but it's not until you get inside that you can appreciate the extravagance and eccentricity that not only the pavilion but Brighton embody.
Unfortunately, you can't take video inside, only photos, so we will do our best to capture the opulence and indulgence of this Brighton Pleasure Palace.
Well, historic buildings don't get much more impressive than this. From the moment you enter Brighton Pavilion, you're struck with the immense opulence of the design, which was exactly the aim of George, Prince of Wales, when he commissioned work to begin in 1787. The unbelievable and extremely unique detail on every inch of the building is simply mind-blowing. The banqueting hall in particular is the real star of the show, and this is where he would entertain the great and the good of the day with huge dinner parties. Just a short distance into the kitchen provides a fascinating insight into the behind-the-scenes effort that it must have taken to run such a house. The very informative audio tour is a must, and when you come to the saloon room, you'll learn all about its painstaking renovations. The enormous chandelier which dominates the ceiling of the music room is really a sight to behold, and this is a great place to sit, relax and take it all in. You can even visit the bedrooms used by George himself and the room Queen Victoria used when the palace passed into her hands, although she didn't really care much for the place. Admission costs £17 for adults and £10.50 for children. Family tickets are available, and if you're interested in the other Brighton museums, check out a multi-attraction pass. Details are available on the website linked below. That was a really fascinating visit. I recommend the audio tour because the description of the rooms and the things that you see in the rooms help you to appreciate all of the different influences that have gone into the amazingly eccentric and bizarre design inside the Royal Pavilion. And outside here in the park is a lovely place to picnic, although the weather has now got a bit rainy.
One place that could be easily overlooked is Brighton Museum and Art Gallery. Located literally just a stone's throw from Brighton Pavilion, you could easily combine both attractions in one day. It has an eclectic mix of galleries from the history of the local area and so much more. Let's go and check it out. The enormous ground floor gallery showcases key design pieces from every decade in the 20th century. The chronological display illustrates the progression of style through many splendid works from designers like Charles Eames, Picasso and Rennie Mackintosh. Brighton is the birthplace of famous Egyptologist Francis Llewellyn Griffith, who worked on several archaeological expeditions in Egypt, and the museum were given objects from Griffith's collection by his brother Arthur. There are also some mummified animal remains here, which look a little bit gruesome. Meet Our Ancestors is a fascinating look at the prehistoric people of the area. Not for the squeamish, there are some actual human remains on display. There is such a huge variety to explore at Brighton Museum, with everything from fine art to images of Brighton. Fashion and style play a big part here, including in the Queer the Pier gallery. One thing music fans will enjoy is the awesome collection celebrating Brighton band The Jam.
This is very cool because the glasses he's wearing in that 1981 Sounds magazine are right in the cabinet over there, and the shoes and the suit in the cabinet behind me.
A little exhibition here that pays homage to clubbing in Brighton in the early 2000s. And I remember going to some of these nightclubs, making me feel pretty old.
Well, as with so much in Brighton, that is a fantastically eclectic mixture of exhibitions. My favourite was the Meet Our Ancestors exhibition, which explores local history from prehistoric times. Very well worth a visit. Brighton is a shopper's paradise, offering a vibrant mix of independent and unique boutiques. In the labyrinth of the 16th century lanes, you'll find designer labels and jewellery shops and an eclectic mix of places to eat and drink. The narrow north lanes are a colourful hub of independent retailers, stalls, restaurants, bars and places to catch a comedy show. Bargain hunters will love the variety, with everything from veggie shoe shops to vegan eateries, thrift and vintage clothes markets. Welcome to the Volks Electric Railway. Opened in 1883, this is the oldest continuously running electric railway in the world. It runs for 1 mile along Brighton seafront. Let's go.
The railway was constructed by enthusiastic inventor Magnus Volk, who brought the first telephone system to Brighton in 1879. A year later, he was the first person on the south coast of England to fit electric lights in his house. Volks Electric Railway opened on the 4th of August 1883. Originally a 1/4 mile in length, the line was extended a couple of times, and in 1901 it was extended out to Black Rock, making the route about 1.25 miles in total. Heritage Lottery funding in 2015 allowed the creation of a visitors centre at the aquarium station. The railway operates daily between the aquarium and Black Rock station, with return fares costing £5.60 for adults. It took less than 10 minutes to make that journey. There are 3 stations here, one halfway. We've come to Black Rock Station, which is the end of the line. It's just by the marina.
We really hope you've enjoyed watching this video and that it's given you some great ideas for your own upcoming trip to Brighton.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.